If you are a Windows support provider, you could come across situations like this. I have two custom-built computers here today. Both of them need upgrades in order to do an in-place upgrade to Windows 11. There are complications. So I think we're going to do one of the upgrades during the show.
Hi, how you doing?
And I got speaker box confirmation, my own audio confirmation. So this is the office, the same office that has the computer that I had here. I had two other computers here last week on the counter, but I didn't actually do live work on them. Today we'll be doing some live work on these. This computer is the owner of the company, belongs to the owner of the company. They have 4 of these NZXT cases. These custom-built computers were done, as I understand, at the same time, but they have very different parts in them. I think the answer to that, and I have not drilled down to ask my client these details because that doesn't matter that much. But anyway, I think the reason for that is, as I understand, these computers were built around COVID time, and parts were more difficult to come by. So I think that's why there's a variety of parts. This case is the only one that's white. The computer cases all have RGB, and surprisingly, in this all-female office, none of them are visible. None of the RGB is visible when the computers are under their desks. One of the desks, you can see that the plexiglass side is visible as you walk up to the desk. Once she sits down at her desk, her clients at the desk can't see it. Anyway, I think it's probably a story that's what was available at the time. I found some things that were not quite right. I'm not going to point those out to my client because I don't buy into trash talking other technicians. I try to avoid that every time I can, but I'll show it here. The things that I found here, nothing real serious. This computer, I've already cloned the existing drive to this new 1 terabyte NVMe drive. The drive that's in the computer is 500 gigabytes. And it didn't have enough space to upgrade to Windows 11. The Windows 11 upgrade would start running, but then it unrolled itself at the end and failed to install. So I figured, let's just put in a larger drive size. I'm taking a look over chat to be sure everything's okay. Nobody's complaining about sound or anything, so I'll just continue. The technique that I used to clone it was about my plan C. My first plan was I made a backup image to an external drive. I was going to put the new drive in and then restore it. Problem with that. I'm going to come over here to a video. I think I have queued up. Yeah, ready to show. Roll film. Here's my gloved hands. And I'm just screwing down the heat shield for that NVMe, and I discover that on the left side there's a little bit of play. I can wiggle that end up and down. So the screw is not holding it tight against the NVMe drive. And the reason for that, let's see, do I show that here? Now there's a place where I stacked the drives on top of each other to try to see that they're different thickness. The old drive is thicker than the new drive, so the thermal pad is not making contact with the drive. That leaves an air gap, and that gap right there just will save all the heat that's coming off the drive and make it even hotter. So in this case, the thermal pad is acting as an insulator rather than a conductor of heat. So what I did for that, let's see, let's come over here, because a little tip here for pointing out the use of AI. One of the uses of AI, this saves a lot of time. There's a lot of things with AI that will waste time, but this one I've used a few times. So I'm positioning the video here to the right place. Let's see, turn that audio off for that. Then get up to 2428. That's where it's supposed to be. Oh yeah, so here, this is it. So here, I've had a conversation going on regarding this computer for a variety of things that I found with it. And what I did is I took 2 screenshots of choices on Amazon for thermal pads. And rather than reading through those listings and trying to figure out which ones to do, here I'll play this audio. I think you'll hear it. Oops, it's not playing yet. Oh, there. And come back to here. I'm not doing this right. That's what you get when you don't rehearse. Go back here. All right, now do I have my button set right? Toggle system audio. That should let the audio come through to you. Let's see how that works. Which of these would be a good choice to order? Put high priority on the ones that have delivery today. Okay, so I let it evaluate them. It does a pretty decent job of evaluating things. It's not perfect. There's things you got to watch out for. Like, I didn't ask it to look out for comments from purchasers. But anyway, it came up with a couple good recommendations. I wound up ordering 2 different packages. One package is the 1 millimeter and the other is the 1.5 millimeter. So I'll have it correctly fitting. Now then I wanted to get the clone operation done before those thermal pads come in later today, because I'm a little short on time this weekend, trying to get things done efficiently. So I'm thinking, how can I do that? So I go through a conversation with Gemini.google.com. And I asked it about restoring from the backup drive with the NVMe drive in the slot, but without a heatsink. And it said, we'll put a fan on it. And it said, it's probably okay because it's going to throttle. It'll take longer. And I said, well, what about if we put the new drive into slot number 2, which is a Gen 3. So it's going to run slower. And it liked that choice a lot. So I put it into the second slot with no heatsink and booted from the flash drive from Echo and Reflect, performed the clone operation from drive to drive. It took about 3 or 4 minutes. Very, very fast. So that turned out to be good. So that drive is all ready to go. When I get that thermal pad, just put it in place, and I should be able then to perform the upgrade to Windows 11 Home in place. So that's that one. Let's go take a look at chat and say hello to people. Then I'm going to tell you about computer number 2 and bring it up on the desk. And we'll probably do a hardware replacement, live, unscripted, unrehearsed. Greg M is the first one that is showing. Yeah, there was, but there were other chat comments before that because it started yesterday, within a minute or two after I scheduled the show. Here from Baby Beast, Scott was the first one in, and I said, I just finished scheduling this, and boom, you're here. That's impressive. And there was Tim Cruz and Scott again, and Ken Stout, Darren Gilholm, sorry. Oh, that's ugly. All those mirroring images. So continuing. Let's see. We'll come down here to Jim. He says, it makes me wonder. Whoops. Don't do that, Doug. It makes me wonder how an office machine fills up a 500 gigabyte drive. My wife's machine has been running off the same 500 gigabytes since 2019. It's only about 2/3 filled. Maybe not even that. I haven't actually done a disk detective yet. That's my normal way of checking. This office has dozens of different bookkeeping software programs. When I say dozens, they have many versions of QuickBooks. They have many versions of Lacerte. Lacerte, it's a new version every year. They've been in business for quite a few years. They do store their data on a peer-to-peer server. But all those programs take up a lot of space, and with all the updates that they've had over time, that'll eat up space. But it's only using currently a little under 400 gigabytes. It's just that 100 gigabyte, a little bit higher than that, of free space they have apparently is not enough to upgrade to Windows 11. All right, some more Greg M. I'm not reading the messages. I'm just saying hello to people. John Williams, Scott again, Selden Ball, Domain 2000, Ran Israel, Selden Ball Zavi Menor, Ben Laird, Phil Stodd. I think I already said him. So hello to you all. Good to see you. John Downey. And Jim was 5 minutes late. I think I pretty much got him caught up. Oh, Chris Garrett, hello. So that gets us all caught up, I think. I don't think I missed anybody. If I did, I'm sorry. It was not intentional. Before I swap out for the other computer, let me show you some of the anomalies that I came across. I guess I need to tell you, I don't know if I told you last week. The computer that I had in here last week, I don't recollect whether I did the work on it after the show. I think I did the work after the show, so I don't think I knew this at the time. When I went to upgrade the NVMe drive, the NVMe drive that was in the computer was this one. That's a 2230, and it's an NVMe, Western Digital, and it was 256 gigabyte. Now the catch is there was no standoff to screw this down, so it wasn't secured in place. What was happening is they had put it in the slot and then put the heatsink on top of it, and it was just the pressure of the heatsink that was keeping it in place. So the number of years, well, since COVID, so that's 5 years, it has not wiggled loose. The other thing about it is that the thermal pad had the plastic film over it, so that was not even coming in contact with this drive. And this was a Gen 3x2 in a Gen 4x4 slot, so they weren't getting much the kind of performance they could. But then it's bookkeeping, so is that going to matter? Probably not going to be noticed. Now, Let's see. Ken Stout says, "Oh, Reach Chris's name is above my name." I miss Ken Stout. Really? I'm serious. That was not intentional. I was not trying to snub him. Yeah. Oh, maybe it's because he's referring to the comment from yesterday. Yeah, that Scott came in and then Ken was commented yesterday. You don't need speed for bookkeeping. Yeah. Now, but however, one of the things though is there are things that the bookkeeping software does where it's can process reports, it can process forms, it can when it opens a large file that can take a while. When it does validity checks, I don't think that's the word that they use, but it scans through the file that can take a few minutes. So it could be a difference. But when people are going from one transaction to another, not so much. Ken's buried under the snow. Hello, Jeff Ryman. Now, where to turn next? Okay, I've got the lavalier microphone ready to go, and I've got it boosted to 1600% gain. So I'm going to turn off the overhead. Now the lavalier mic should be live, and it's going to have a little different tonal quality, but volume should be similar. And then I have set up my cameras a little bit different. So here's this one. This computer does not have any fans mounted on the front here. The next computer does. The reason why I mention that is because down this direction here is one of the vent filters screens. Vent filter screen, is that a good way to call it? And they're supposed to be mounted on the bottom. This one was not mounted on the bottom. When I first got to it, they had mounted it from the inside so that you couldn't service it. Well, since there's no fans inside here, it was easy enough to reach inside and take it out and put it back here. Oops, wrong way. There we go. To get it where it belongs. The other screens were in place properly. And the reason why I mentioned those fans is because the next computer does have fans mounted there. So I had to use a little different technique. Well, let me just show that there, because I don't think I want to try showing this on the other one. Okay, there it was inserted that way. So the other computer has fans in there. I can't get my hands in there, and I just pushed it like that and was able to pull it out here, and no biggie. Okay. The next computer did not have a screw up here. This holds the plexiglass in place. So I found another screw for that. This panel here was not slid down, so it was back up like this. So that was allowing non-filtered air in. Again, I'm not going to point out any of this stuff to my client. I'm not interested in bashing. But it's just pointing out things to look for, be aware as you're working on a computer. And for me, since I'm not a custom builder, this is territory that I'm not real familiar with, but feel comfortable with. Is there anything else to talk about this? I don't think so. I'll show the backside. I thought this looked pretty clean, orderly. Corsair CX750 for the power supply. The person who built these computers, the only thing I know about them is that they are no longer available to my client. They are now in trucking. All right. So let's swap out computers. This is the one that I showed pictures of last week, where when I attempted to change, oops, gotta do this right. When I attempted to turn on the TPM and activate Secure Boot, gave me a message about the graphics adapter was inadequate. So we need a new graphics adapter. Got a GeForce GT 1030 here. And so what I'd like to do here is fire the computer up, show that symptom, and then put in the new card and see that that fixes it. Hopefully. John Williams notices Cooler Master heat sinks. Yeah, they all have Cooler Masters, but they're different model. I'm still on the lavalier, aren't I? Yeah. So let's switch to this camera. Now this is the screw that I found amongst my screws. Not real pretty. It's chrome rather than black. So I'm finding that it's harder to take out than put in. Oh, here's a new thing for me. Yeah, you saw my gloves on that video. Now, I just bought these gloves. I bought 2 boxes, one black and one blue. I started out with the black, but realized when I put my fingers on the keyboard, I can't see my hands. It's all black. A little trick that I learned back in my first job after high school, which was mechanic in the service bay at a shell garage. They were using gloves, the mechanics there, and I had not come across that previously. I went through a lot of mechanics in high school, and so they showed me this little technique. When you take the gloves off, you want to put them back on again. That's how you get them back to original state. All right, and I did a little research because the work that I did last week messed up my fingers. So I went and talked to the AI, asking about that, because I thought I was being really careful. And I wasn't rubbing my fingers across edges or anything like that. Why did my fingers get so messed up, my fingertips? What it told me, I did not know. Maybe some of you already knew this, but I didn't know it. So I'm going to just say it that way. And that is that these circuit boards have fiberglass in them, and little tiny microscopic fragments of that glass will find its way into your skin and then be painful. I mean, it's not a real serious pain. I told the AI that I had been using Neosporin to try to deal with that. I said, no, that's not going to do any good. That's going to hurt. That's going to make it worse. And the answer, what it told me to do is to take a strong tape like a duct tape or stronger. Put it on your finger and rip it off. Kind of like getting the wax treatment that some people get for removing hair, and that will pull those fiberglass shards out. And then use liquid skin, liquid bandage will take away the residual pain. And I tried that, and yeah, I was surprised. I ripped it off with the tape and they immediately felt better. I don't know, did any of you, is that news to you? Give me a 1 in chat if that's new information to you. 0 if you already knew it. But yeah, so I'm going to be wearing gloves. And this computer, I'm still on lavalier. Good. I see people saying new. This was news to them. John Williams already knew it. Jeff, Matthew, Selden Ball, Scott, they all seem to be in the same boat as me. Ben Laird. Cool. Now, I'm having trouble getting that off. So let's try with the screwdriver. Now, this computer, I told you that the white one for the owner is visible until she sits down in her chair. This one is slid into that cabinet that I showed you last week that I was having to reach over behind and figure out where the USB ports are so that I could connect the external drive to it. So
read chat, please.
This has got wood walls on both sides of it, and there's no viewing of RGB at all. And this one, I think, has more RGB. John Williams used new skin when he was a bowler a long time ago, and Savi Minor, C. Phil Stodd remark about the first computer. It looks like top fan is screwed by wire ties. Oh yes, there are wire ties in that computer. You're right. But let me go back to Phil's comment. Let's go find it this way. Looks like the top fan is secured by wire ties. Top fan. I don't think so. Let's bring yet another camera into the job. You're referring to this fan here? On the top of the case, it's got screws going in this direction. No wire ties. But there were wire ties on one of these computers on the back, in the back. Let's see. How am I best going to show this? Yes. So I'll replace those with zip ties. Yeah, let's go this way. Yeah, those are wire ties. 1, 2. And there's no circuit boards nearby, so that reduces the likelihood of that causing trouble. Okay. This one, oh, there's also a vent on this side of the back cover. Yeah, Scott, I thought the wire management looked pretty good. I thought these looked pretty clean. Now, I took the side off. Oh, the amount of RGB in this computer. This has fans up here, and they are RGB, judging by the transparent coloring of it. This is a place where you could have a liquid cooler, but there is no liquid cooler. There's an RGB strip here. They put this fancy looking power cable here. The RAM does not have RGB. There's an RGB fan there, and fan there, and fan there. And let's look at the back side. Because those wires that they put on for the power supply, that is an extension. That is not actually directly from the power supply. So here's the wires coming from the power supply. There's plenty of length there, and it connects here, and they put this extension piece on to get those nice looking wires on the front that are never going to be seen. And this down here, oops, I got to change a camera angle for you to get that here, I think. No, that's not the right one. Oh, yeah, he's got so many cameras. Go this way. There you go. What's this down here? All right. Spinning hard drive, not secured in place. Yeah, that's not so good. The wires, the extra length of wires for the power supply are just kind of stuffed in here. But here are the RGB controller. The wires are running around through here. Not bad, but not as neat as some that I've seen. But again, this is probably a rush job to get a computer in place for them. Now here's a zip tie that is cut. Like there used to be something here. Okay, anyway, just interesting. When I put the cover on, the back cover on, it has to kind of press in place. So there's something, I think it's just this piece right here. This piece right here is extending too far out. And I think it's just bending it in when I put the panel on. Let's not put that on yet. Point out another thing. Sometimes things evolve and it's not the way that you might have designed to begin with. There's 4 USB ports here. None of them were in use when I removed the computer from the office on Thursday. But on the front of the computer, up on the They had a Type-C port extender that had USB cables connected to it. I don't even know what they're all used for. Probably half of these USB ports were occupied. I just took my pictures and got the computer out of there. I'm not sure what this person is using all the USB for, but I suspect that whoever built the computers, when they went to configure this one, realized that this user wants extra USB, so they put these ports, but they're on the back of the computer. And that's inside that cabinet that I showed you a picture of last week. So to reach those USB ports is just not going to happen once it's in place. Okay. Got that side covered. Where do I want to go next? Oh, that's that hard drive sliding around as I should have been more careful with that. Here's that filter that I told you was mounted wrong. Okay, so now let's get things rolling here. This graphics card is the source of the trouble. And what I want to do is start it up and show that problem and then shut it down, put this card in, and let's see if it solves the problem. You know what? I'm going to put that back cover on, since that hard drive is not secured in there. Now, I don't know if that's actually could that actually be the main drive? Could the C drive be on that? Like I said, during COVID, there was a shortage of parts. They could have put a hard drive in there. Right. This top fan is also secured by screws. I didn't actually see if my answer regarding the top fan was actually what you were complaining about, or was that what you thought was wrong and now it's okay? And I'm going to use my capture card. And my keyboard dongle. Power is on. Power switch on. And ignition. I'm using F11, which is actually boot select on this computer. That's not BIOS. And I don't see it on screen right now because I've got to come over here to my capture device in order to see that. And I'm going to turn studio mode on so that I can see it before showing to you, because as far as I know, it might be booting up right now. And yes, it did. Okay. Yep, that was going to show my client's name. I'm guessing this motherboard would be a delete key or escape. If anybody knows the answer to that, you can let me know. Oh, that's interesting. It won't shut down without me actually signing in first. I'm going to do a shift, whoop. Whoa. What happened there? Before I clicked shut down or restart, it just went ahead and did it. Huh. I think what happened there is when I was at the lock screen where you put in a password, I went down to the bottom right to click on the power icon and choose shut down. And it didn't shut down. So then I put in the PIN code to get into Windows. It got into Windows. And before I was able to click restart or shut down, the computer shut down. It's almost like it was still working on that shutdown click that I did from the lock screen. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't think I've seen that before. And Greg says it's probably still booting up. It wasn't really ready to receive that instruction, maybe. Boot menu is F12. Actually, I've been boot menu's been F11. I want to get into setup. Here I am. I've been just hammering on delete and escape alternately, and that got me into BIOS. Selden says timing was consistent with booting from a hard drive. I'm kind of thinking that maybe that's what's going on. This computer, well, I've got an echo. I'm going to switch to my overhead mic. There we go. Yeah, I've got an echo. Do you have strange things happening with audio? I'm hearing myself in my ears. Maybe it's the studio mode. And Greg says audio fine. Yeah, I still have an echo. I can live with it because it's not too bad. But I'm going to take a little diversion here. You're not able to see what I'm doing here to see if my monitoring setting has changed. No. I've got the lavalier turned off. I'm going to switch microphones again. This gets me back on the lavalier, and there's that echo. Back on the overhead. All right, I'm just going to let it go. This audio is okay for you guys. All right, I'll make this bigger so I can see it. Then if I go to arrow keys, setting, and then security, trusted computing, security device support is enabled. So I think it must have been secure boot where it's having the trouble. And that was on advanced, and then Windows OS, I think. No. Oh, it was the CSM. I was trying to get out of CSM mode. Now, I do know that this drive is GPT. there's a couple things on my mind about how this could go. Now, when I switch to UEFI, it's not going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I got out of the CSM mode and then go to Secure Boot, Enable. CSM is loaded, disable CSM and set up repeat operation after reboot. Okay, so we need to get UEFI before we can turn Secure Boot, because right now it's still in CSM mode, but I have changed it to UEFI. So restart, I should be able to get back into setup with UEFI mode and then see if I can do Secure Boot. I want to save. Let's go with the X up here. There we go. BIOS UEFI CSM changed from CSM to UEFI CSM support from enabled to disabled. Okay. I see your comment, Greg, about BIOS being 4 years old. And Jim, I have already verified the drive is GPT. Okay, yeah, here's what we saw last week. There's no GOP graphics output protocol support detected in this card. So it is automatically changing BIOS back to CSM. So we could not even get to the point of enabling Secure Boot. It's switching to UEFI mode that this graphics adapter cannot handle. Okay. Go. Oh, this, in order to get the card out, this slider on the back has to come up, make enough room.
Read chat, please.
Read chat, unplug power cord. I turned the power off on the power supply. I'll go ahead and unplug the cord as well. Power supply has a switch on it. Oh, all right. Color me silly. That doesn't hardly look like the right screw for that. Okay. See how it goes. Couple adjustments here. All right. That was no, advanced. And we had Windows and here. So the secure boot isn't available on this menu yet because CSM is enabled. Now I've got that echo back. Switch to UEFI here, and then secure boot is available here, but I don't think I can turn that on until we restart the computer in UEFI mode. So I expect this. Well, this is that same thing that I showed last week. Okay, there we
Read
go.
chat,
Yeah,
please.
that's it. That's it. That processor uses AMD FTPM. Okay. Is that just, you're saying that because I was calling it TPM? We had the, yeah, FTPM, there it is. Okay, here we go. Change from CSM to UEFI and CSM disabled. Yes. Greg, I'm pretty sure that BIOS is not current. Phil says you may have to turn that off to use the motherboard TPM module. Turn that off. You're referring to FTPM. Whoops. Yeah, I forgot to hit the key to get back into BIOS. Because I was thinking about what you're saying in chat. Okay, so I've got to go back to studio mode.
Read chat, please.
It has booted up to Windows. Let's see, Jim, update BIOS, it's 4 years old. I have no objection to updating BIOS, and we may get to that. I want to see it switch into UEFI mode in the TPM. Okay, so here we're restarting to get into UEFI firmware settings. And Greg M, it has Windows 10 Home on it. Oh, I don't need the hotkey to get into BIOS setup. Okay. And there's at the top of the screen shows that we're in UEFI mode. We were down here on OS configuration, UEFI, secure boot. Secure boot is disabled, enable, and then click the X in the upper right corner. Secure boot from disabled to enable, and yes. I'm going to take that off screen while it's booting because it's going to come up to my client's login screen. Logging in. And we'll go look at system information to verify secure boot. And I'm also going to turn off desktop icons just in case I accidentally get back to the desktop. Okay, here we go. Make this bigger so I can see it. There it is. Secure boot stayed on. So that should be ready to upgrade to Windows 11, but let's go ahead and update BIOS. Just because oughta. And now I'm going to take that off screen. Let me press that. Now this BIOS, I know there's multiple different ways to do a firmware upgrade, and I want to check Windows Update first to see if it is there. I highly doubt it as a optional update. I'm thinking I doubt it, and I don't know this, but I'm doubting it because it has a 4-year-old BIOS already. That might not be updatable through Windows, but that's guessing for me because this is not my normal area. Few optional updates. Okay, I can bring this on screen. Nope. No BIOS. We need to go find the BIOS, download it, or see what instructions are available, unless somebody's going to give me a information they already know. I'll give you the motherboard information, and we'll go look for a BIOS update. MPG B550 Gaming Plus.
Read chat, please.
There's, if he's got a link to it. Awesome, thank you. MPG B550 Gaming Plus, drivers and downloads, how to flash the BIOS.
Read chat, please.
The BIOS version we currently have is what? I didn't make note of it. Do not use the beta. AMI BIOS, version numbers, there's the beta, these release dates. 2025, the one at the top is a beta. 6v1L1, 6v1K. This is not a beta. All right, looks like that one. Extract the zip file, paste it to your USB storage device. The root folder, mflash in the upper left, mflash down here. Okay. All right. I downloaded that file on Big Beast. I have a flash drive appropriately labeled BIOS. All right. So here's that zip file. It wants the files on the root of the drive, so I assume I can extract them here and copy them over to the flash drive. As you know, I don't do this very often. I don't deal with many custom build computers. So we put those two files on the root of that drive. Go look at that. It is called HP Tools. Pretty sure that's it. It's got some files that are, yeah, because of the size, that was it. Do those need to be the only files? I can't imagine that that would be the case. At last read chat, you need only the firmware file. Don't need the text file. Okay. That makes me want to know what's in the text file. Okay. Just identifies it and tells what it does. All right. Okay, now get back to studio mode and see where that computer is at. Yeah, I'm get it restarted. Right, I'm going to choose power and then shift restart. Then go to troubleshoot, advanced options, firmware, restart. All right. M flash in the bottom left. System will auto reboot and enter the flash mode. I haven't plugged in that flash drive yet. I know sometimes a USB port is specially marked for BIOS. The instructions didn't tell us to go to that, but there is a Flash BIOS button on the back, which I'm suspecting restores a backup BIOS, backup firmware. Now, I've got that in place. All right, so it should detect that drive. I've got it in one of the regular 2.0 black USB ports. Enter flash mode. Okay, so it found it. That E7 on the right hand side of the screen. So we have to actually, it looks like we actually have to choose that. It's not automatically recognizing which one is the BIOS. And then down on the bottom of the screen, let's see, can I get down here and point to these? Showing the model name, the same between the current BIOS and the selected BIOS. Showing the version number difference. Well, isn't that fun? V1.81 versus V1.K0. And giving us dates. Turn off picture in picture. Yeah, so that 9/2. I'm looking back at the download screen. The release date was 9/23/2025, and the version number was V1K. So that correlates, even though the date does not match exactly. All right. Now I'm looking for a button to click to say go. Maybe I just click on that file. There's a click. Yeah. Are you sure you want to select this file? Yes. BIOS is updating. Giving us a confirmation on screen V1.81 to V1.K0. Alrighty then. It'll probably take a few minutes. I'm looking back at chat. Hello, Tim Cruz. Phil Stodd says, if there is a flash button, use the USB port with the silk screen around it. Go take a closer look at that. Let's see. Actually, I can show it to you. Back on the leveler mic.
Red chat, please.
Yeah, I can. Oh, yes, there is a silk screen around that USB port. It says flash BIOS. I did not notice that. Marsman says no touchy. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to touch that button. This computer does belong to a client, Tim. Now, let's see, I'm going to need to make an adjustment to that camera. Start with turning it upside down. There. Transform, rotate 180 degrees, and then fix the focus.
Read chat, please.
Come on, which one is it? Ah, that one. There we go. There's a flash button to the left of the words flash BIOS button, and then that silk screen border around the USB port that's right under it is the place to put if you're going to use the flash button, and that gives you the capability, as I understand it, of being able to update the BIOS even if the computer won't boot into the BIOS setup screen. What we're using now is the BIOS setup screen to update the BIOS. But if you can't even get there, then that is a technique to be able to update the BIOS without having to actually get into the setup screen. Let's get a little bit better light on that. There. So you put the USB flash drive in here, it's got the BIOS on it, and press that flash button. I think you do that without turning the motherboard power on. I think you have to have the power supply power on, but I don't think you actually press the power button to turn the computer on, but rather just press that button. I seem to remember that. Again, not my area. Greg says correct. Thank you. Well, I got that right. Good, Dougie. And then let's get back and see how that update is going. 69%. Yeah, now I got the echo back. I get the echo back. I have myself on the preview side, apparently. Let's see if I put that. No. Still have echo? Yeah. Turn studio mode off. I still have echo. Somewhere along the way, the echo went away. I'm on the lavalier mic. Maybe that's it. I wonder if it's picking up my headset through the lavalier mic. Here I'm back on the overhead mic, and I still have echo. So what's next is to boot the computer into Windows and start the Windows 11 upgrade, and see how it goes. Thank you, John. He says, good job, Doug. I've done that so many times. BIOS updates, I presume he's saying. Okay. When I take these two computers back to their office Monday morning, we'll be done in that office with the Windows 11 upgrades. So then I move on to the next office. There's some more to get finished up with this office, and that is to put external backup drives on each computer. I discussed doing full image backups with my client. And the reason why I really like that in this office is because of all the different software they have available, and they're going into tax season. They do tax processing, tax returns, and if a computer has a problem during tax season, to just, instead of troubleshooting the problem, I'd say, was it working yesterday? I have had times where I do this, just restore the image from yesterday because the data's on the server. So that can be a very quick, easy way to fix a problem during their high stress time. Selden says, am I correct in assuming that you do not plan to provide an upgrade to an SSD? Yeah, no, you're not correct in assuming that. But thank you so much for mentioning that. I'm going to go see if I can get another one delivered today, because the white computer is using the last one that I had in inventory. And I haven't actually looked under that heatsink to verify there's not a drive there. Regardless, I'm needing to order another one anyway.
Red chat, please.
Arnold says update complete. How are you seeing that? You seen something on the computer itself that says it's complete, or are you just guessing by now it's done? I'm going to go order this guy. Let's see, when does it come?
Read chat,
Doesn't
please.
show me there. Arnold knows it's done. Yes, it's done. It's on the lock screen. Arnold says the PC rebooted. So you saw that happening by virtue of the RGB lights, I suppose. Oh, I've got to click on list all buying options to see that. Yeah, that's what's throwing me here. See, I was looking in here. When does it? It doesn't even have a price here. I have to come over here to see all buying options. I'm a little nervous on these screens because I'm about to expose my address somewhere along the line. Tuesday for the first one. Free delivery Tuesday, free delivery for Prime. This one doesn't say how long. December 22nd, December 18th. I'll add that to the cart and see what it tells me about delivery. In the cart, it doesn't show me delivery, so I went to checkout. 1 business day after shipping, but it's not saying when it's going to ship. Order now and we'll notify you by email when we have an estimated delivery date for this item. So I'm going to hold off on placing the order. It's quite possible that later today I'll be able to order it for next day delivery because things can change that fast. Right now I don't have a same day or a next day delivery available, so I'm not going to order that just yet.
Read chat, please.
Yeah, I know you know the address. Yeah, Phil, I realize we can do that. Don't forget to lose the hard disk drive. I think I'm all caught up there. Studio mode. Sign into the computer on the preview side. All right, so here's disk management. Got to make this bigger so I can see it. You're already seeing it better than I am. There's that echo back again. Here's the C drive. No, that spinning drive is not the boot drive. Here's the C drive. So no, not replacing the spinning drive. It says storage from old desktop D. So that was probably back around the year 2000, COVID. No, 2020. When they got
Read
these
chat,
computers.
please.
Yeah, the D drive appears to be an old operating system. Yeah, because it's got the other partitions. So it was probably bootable on the old drive. I mean, the old computer. Let's do. Oh, okay. So the Windows 11 upgrade. Before doing that, how about we check to see what we have? I'm thinking Crystal Disk Info to see what's in that slot. So I'm bringing up their browser. Make sure that I can show this without revealing anything I shouldn't be. I'm going to put my preview on that monitor and my live will be on this monitor. That's the ticket. Let's see, I am. Why does that not look right? My buttons don't look right. Oh, I see. Oh, of course I don't have internet.
Read chat, please.
That last read chat, device manager, to see what the drive is. All right. Right click on Windows and device manager, disk drives. Go to Volumes tab and populate. So here's the spinning drive. It's GPT, and here's. See, this doesn't tell us much about the drive, does it? We're going to get what make and model? Well, I guess this up here, Western Digital. The 5000 probably translates to 500 gigabyte. Is that what it is? Yeah, about that. But this doesn't tell us what generation it is, or how many lanes, does it? This just doesn't seem to provide as much information. Doesn't tell us its health, how much time it has. So we'll go ahead and get Crystal Disk info and have a look at it there. I recently downloaded hardware info, and I like their website so much. They just have this download button right top and center. You don't have to go figure out which is the right one. Selvin says it might be appropriate to verify that the SSD's firmware is up to date. Sure. So if I come down to recollection, it's yeah, clicking on one of these, Crystal Disk info. I think this one takes to another page. Or it's one of these. CDI, Crystal Disk info. Get rid of the advertisement. Reject optional cookies. It's doing a download. Which Crystal Disk info? See, I'd rather download the portable. I think that's the installable. I know the look of the screen that I want when I get to it. Why is that so big? Yeah, this is looking more familiar territory. That's Crystal Disk Mark. There's Crystal Disk info.
Read
Go
chat,
down
please.
more. And zip. I think it's this one right here. Craig M says Western Digital Black TMSN 750 NVMe. Okay. What generation is that? Okay, there's the download happening with a delay. So that's a zip file. We'll extract that. And launch disk info 64. Greg M says Gen 3 he thinks. Okay, so here PCIe 3x4, so it's Gen 3 4 lanes. Now this is, I don't know which number is which. The first number is the drive itself, and the second number is the motherboard's capability, I think. Can you give me a confirmation on that? the last motherboard I looked at was a 4.0 by 4. So I'm surprised to find this motherboard less capable. But showing 98% good, temperature normal. Okay, what else I need to do? Oh, I think probably start the Windows update. First number is PCI generation, the motherboard's PCI generation, I suppose. The second is the number of lanes used. Now, the 3.0 is the generation. The second number is 4 is the number of lanes. That doesn't address this number versus this number. I think one of them refers to the drive itself, the other refers to the capability of the motherboard. Is anybody able to clarify that? See, Phil Stodd, you're not giving me the answer that I want. Because this is the generation, yeah, and this is the number of lanes. But describe the difference between these two halves. Oh, let's try something. I'm going to bring up a new AI tool. Yeah, let's try this.
Read chat, please.
Hover over the numbers and wait for the pop-up. Oh, does the pop-up answer that question? Current mode, supported mode. Oh, okay, I see how it's written. I think I probably just didn't pay enough attention to that. So current mode, supported mode. Currently running 3x4, supported mode 3x4. Well, supported mode would mean what the motherboard is capable of, right? Because that's who's supporting it. That's what's supporting it, is the motherboard. And current mode could be lower than that if the drive is less capable. So if we saw, for instance, on the right side, PCI 4.0 by 4 would indicate the motherboard's capable of 4.0 by 4, but the drive that we're using is actually 3.0 by 4. Their wording here, current mode and supported
Read
mode,
chat, please.
I say, what does that mean? Rand says no. If you put a Gen 3 drive in a Gen 4 slot, it will still show Gen 3 on both parts. So he's saying this is not motherboard capability. Yeah, this is not satisfying to me at all. So I'm going to try this tool here. Open Gemini. And then, don't need a flashlight anymore.
Read chat, please.
Rand says, it only shows if a fast drive is hampered by a slow motherboard M.2 port. Well, now it sounds like you're saying what I want to say. And Zavi's got a Gemini share. Okay, well, I'm gonna demonstrate this piece. This is the Gemini app on my phone. In this bottom right corner, I'm going to touch on, this is a conversational with a voice app. Hello, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. What's on your mind?
Okay, now I'm going to switch to the camera, bring that back on screen. This is Crystal Disk info showing me the transfer mode of PCIe 3.0 by 4, and then there's that vertical bar, and on the right side, PCIe 3.0 by 4. And when I flip the mouse over it, it's indicating that the left-hand side of that vertical bar is the current mode, the right-hand side is the supported mode. My question is, one of those indicating the capabilities of the motherboard and the others indicating the capability of the drive itself?
That's exactly right. The current mode shows what the
Read chat,
M.2
please.
drive is currently using based on your motherboard's capabilities, and the supported mode indicates the maximum transfer mode the drive itself supports.
Okay. The drive itself supports. Why would the drive be in a slower mode than what the drive supports? It would be if the motherboard is hindering it. So that tells me the left-hand side, the current mode, if it's lower than the right-hand side, then it would be lower because the motherboard's less capable. I'm going to guess that's probably exactly what Zavi is giving me with his Gemini. I'll right-click, open link a new tab. No, this is product details. This is not on the subject of this transfer mode. Interface USB. What are we looking at here? Was that the...
Read chat, please.
According to Gemini, it's 3.2 Gen. As opposed to 3.0 Gen. All right, I'm going to let go of this. I'm going to say that I don't have this understood yet, and I don't care a whole lot because my clients aren't that hungry for the power, but I would like to understand this better. And I think I'm going to need to do some offline studying of this subject. But let's get going with the Windows 11 upgrade because we're running low on time. So I'm going to close that down. And we're off screen until I get to Windows Update to see what's... Well, now here's an interesting thing. Shiny object. MSI installer, driver utility installer. Your device has been connected and will provide you with suitable drivers and utilities. I'm wondering, is this coming up because we just did the upgrade to the firmware? I'm inclined not to do this. Interested in your thoughts on that. David says don't do it. Yeah, Rand, 3.2 is USB terminology. That screen is actually talking about USB, wasn't it? That threw me. I'm saying, why are you talking about USB here in this? The code such and such corresponds to an... Oops, I thought I had that on screen. Oh, I see. I turned studio mode off, didn't I?
Read chat, please.
Corresponds to an internal NVMe, but the format and most of the search results strongly suggest you might be looking for a game drive SSD, which is an external portable. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Scroll down for NVMe. NVMe internal exact model you provided actually refers to a specific model of internal M.2 NVMe drive, Western Digital Black, 2280, 3.0 by 4. So that's confirming 3.0. Whereas this 3.2 reference up here was a USB number. Okay, so this doesn't change anything of what we've already seen, right?
No way.
And Rand says, no, it doesn't change anything. Oh, Carrie Holzman's here. Hello, Carrie. All right. Get back to my right screen here. And looky there. It's going to take us straight to Windows 11. Transition that. And I've got a download install right here. Windows 11 25H2 is ready and it's free. And I'll just show you that we are on Windows 10. It would be 22H2 and Home Edition. Oh, no, it's Pro. Surprise. Why did I think this was Home? I guess I assumed that they did all of them the same. The other computers I've looked at so far were Home. This again is the computer that I showed pictures last week of when I tried to enable the TPM. It refused to do that because the graphics adapter was not compatible. We installed a new graphics adapter today and got to the TPM or the FTPM, whatever, and secure boot enabled. And now
Read
doing
chat,
the
please.
Windows 11 installation. Marsman say, did you pull the BIOS flash drive? I did not. Good point. And I'll switch off of the laptop onto the overhead mic. Those should be pretty comparable volume, but a little different tonal difference. And I have the gain for the lavalier mic cranked up to 1600% in order to get the volumes balanced. Okay. There's 10 minutes to go. Oh, let's see. I'm going to try something else here. I go that way and there and there. Yeah. I think I'm all up to date with chat as far as the things you were trying to get my attention. Scrolling back to see oranges. Not seeing anything else. Oh, I do have some emails lined up.
Read chat, please.
Sam Lazar asking how fast is my internet? It's about 600 down and around 30 up. What did I bump there? Oh. Yeah, we don't need to watch grass grow on that screen. Transition that. Studio mode off. Going to see what I have in emails. Oh, yeah. So Sam Lazar is here. He gave another update about the client that he had reported last weekend. I reported to you that he reported that he got a new Wi-Fi 7 adapter for his client's computer. I think that was a laptop. And he says, oh, now wait a minute. The way you worded this is different. Is it this? Maybe this is an older client, because it says, I saw my client a month ago, and he said the upgrade had done wonders for his laptop. When I got the Wi-Fi 7 card from Intel, it was only about $30 AUD at a local store. I thought that was a recent replacement that you did, Sam. Okay, but anyway, the client was really happy with that upgrade. Yeah, this was another email that I had lined up for today. It was from a client of mine. They got an email from their email provider that sounded kind of scammy. Samia says, yes, it was a laptop, not a normal upgrade. And that was an internal. You bought the internal Wi-Fi 7 adapter for it, didn't you? Not a USB. Anyway, this email was from their email host, IONOS. This is my only client that uses that service. And they were saying that you're running out of space, and they wanting to sell him extra storage space to go to 50 gigabytes of storage per mailbox, and his current plan only provides 2 gigabytes. And my client says, I don't believe I have all that storage in use. And it just felt scammy, because the email address it came from was a person's name at, and then the domain name of IONOS, which,
Read chat, please.
Maybe like at Gmail, you can get email addresses at that domain. Don't know. But the other thing that was strange is he got a phone call from them trying to sell the upgrade too. And during the one day, he got phone calls from 4 different people wanting him to upgrade his space. Does that sound like a scam to you? I'll tell you a little bit more what we learned about since then. Let you respond in chat. 1 if you think that sounds like a scam, 0 if you don't. At last read chat. Let's see. Sam, I am with IONOS for my domain, he says. How about that? Use them for emails. I used to be on a 2 gigabyte plan. So people are responding in chat. 1 thinks it's scam. John, scam. Sam, not a scam. Oh, Sam knows them or uses them. All these others saying scam. So it looks like it was not, but still I'm undecided, because here's the deal. I connected remote to my client's computer and found that I looked at his inbox, and there's 1 email that's sitting there in his inbox. And I'd say,
Read chat, please.
Are your emails missing? Are you not receiving emails? And he said, no, it's fine. I just delete them all. So he's got no emails. We go look at his trash folder in Outlook. There's no excessive amount of content there. So I sign into his account through the web interface and look at his graph of used space, and indeed it is very full. So then I go look at what is occupying that space, and it shows me the online trash folder was taking up like 80% of that space. And the things that were in the trash folder were there only by virtue of him signing on to email through the web browser and deleting things there. And they go into that trash folder, which is separate from his Outlook trash folder, because this email is actually configured as POP. It's not IMAP, it's POP. So when he deletes files or emails from his computer, we do have a setting that says delete it from the server after a certain number of days. But the things in the trash folder on the web interface apparently was still sitting there. So I just went and deleted that trash folder, and now he has a massive amount of free space. So was INOS trying to upsell him maybe before he discovered that it was a far more simple solution? Were they able to see that his trash folder is what was taking it all up, and they chose to put 4 phone calls to try to sell? That doesn't make sense to me, that a mail service provider would put that much effort into such a small amount of monthly revenue. So I'm undecided.
Read chat, please.
Sam says, yes, they were upselling. I used to get that. All right. So that's just the thing they do. Don't take it from that. That is something he knows them to do. Then the last of the emails that I have, this is from the same client where he's saying he had 4 people from IONOS call the other day, and then he says, and now I cannot access the site like I used to. Did they shut me down just to get me to buy a larger program? So now there's conspiracy theory involved here. He's having trouble logging into the web interface. So he's thinking, since he told them no, are they holding hostage his webmail account? So I connected remotely to his computer, and I tried to sign on through the web interface on his computer, and it went right through. And so I think probably what happened is he typed a password wrong or something, clicked on something wrong, and he was just a little bit ready to believe that they were, trying to get back at him. All right, that brings us up pretty much to closing time. David says, they should have known, if you ask me. Yeah, it would have been better service to call and say, hey, if you just delete this content in your trash folder, you'd be fine. But nope. No dice. All right, so here's the email address. You can send a question by email or leaving a comment on any of my videos or ask a question in the chat room. If you've been watching and you didn't have chat room approval, you can put a comment on any of my videos asking for chat room approval. So that'll do it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Catch you later. Goodbye.
Read chat, please.
Dramatic stepping away. That didn't work so good. Why is he still on screen? That's off. Things are right there. No, it wouldn't be that one. Okay, I'm going to try the button again. That's the right button. Here we go. Goodbye.
Read chat, please.
That's all, folks.
Tune in. days a week. For Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day. We love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team. For Windows support and more than you dream. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream. At LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts are simply tune in, days a week. For Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day. We love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team. For Windows support and more than you dream. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream. At LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts are simply where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Tune in, days a week. For Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day. We love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team.